Have you ever been interested in finding the best quality pictures, CGs, music, and possibly even scripts for a visual novel? Let me introduce you to a tool called GARBro. GARBro is actually one of the older visual novel tools I can think of that's created, and it's been very helpful for extracting assets from visual novels fairly easily. Now, well, from my experience, most VNs I've tried do work well with GARBro. Do not consider this the be-all end-all to extracting assets. Consider this more of like a first test to see how easy it is, and then maybe just go from there, maybe make your code your own thing to extract assets and deal with script files, because script files in particular are kind of hard to deal with. I don't know how to deal with. Now, I'm not going to go through the installation process, but as long as you go to the releases URL, which I'll put in the description below, it should be easy to just run the setup.exe file and just install GARBro to your computer and directory of choice. Now, let's open up GARBro by going to the directory and opening garbro.gui.exe. First, I'm going to start with a relatively popular visual novel in If My Heart Had Wings. So it's important to find the installation folder, and if you installed it through Steam, an easy way to do that is actually to go to the Steam, go to your Steam, click Properties, go to Local Files, click Browse. Then it should open up a separate directory of where you can access the visual novel files. So once we found the archive location, let's click Open. So as you can see, there's a whole bunch of files here, but there's actually, for If My Heart Had Wings at least, they're fairly easy to figure out what should be in it, at least fairly straightforward. So for example, in this bgm.arc would be background music. So if we open that up, you'll notice that the BGM don't have names like in the VN itself, so you'll have to take a guess. So as long as you know what the name is, you can extract and rename it yourself. But we can actually play the BGM through GARBro by double-clicking on it. If you want to stop, click the stop button way at the bottom down here. You can click back. Now I know that the UI for GARBro is a little bit simplistic, but it works pretty well for what it wants to do. So let's just go through a few other .arc files. While these aren't like the only types of files you can go through to find assets, for If My Heart Had Wings, these are just the ones you would have to go through to find them. So let's go to chip1.arc. As you see, these ones have backgrounds from the visual novels. But if you go back and go to chip2, these have CGs of Agiha. So if you want to find the highest quality CGs taken from the visual novel itself and don't want to go to somewhere like hitomi.la, then starting with GARBro is a pretty safe choice. While you can open the image separately, you can also extract any file by just right-clicking, click Extract, and then just pick a directory of your choice. The last one I want to pick is the script file. Now I know that I mentioned earlier that script files are hard to deal with, and just on If My Heart Had Wings alone, I have no idea what I'm looking at here. So if people can figure out how to do that through If My Heart Had Wings in particular, definitely let me know. The next visual novel I want to go to is Baldur's Sky, just going from a moige to more of a plot gameplay VN. So if we open this directory, we'll see that it uses .pac files, but similar to If My Heart Had Wings, they are labeled relatively easily. So let's go to something different. Let's go to voice.pac. Usually, voices are fully, every single voice acted line are going to be separated in here, and similar to BGM, they're not going to be labeled very well. So if you want to find your favorite voice line from a visual novel and it's in here, you're going to have to like go through a lot of different visual novel lines. Sora. But if you know the character and you know relatively when the line appeared, maybe you can just scroll down, because usually voice lines are ordered by when they appeared in the VN. And they're usually ordered by character of some sort. Now I want to go to script file for Baldur's Sky, and as you can see, these ones are called .bins. They seem like they might have something easier to deal with compared to If My Heart Had Wings, but I still can't open them directly through GARBro. So you're most likely going to have to find some program to read .bin files, because I'm going to assume these have scripts for all the routes. Next visual novel I wanted to go through is Bokuten, the first visual novel that's I don't have installed through Steam. So Bokuten has .arc files similar to If My Heart Had Wings, but as you can see, half the files have very vague data names. These still have picture assets and stuff in it, but it's a lot less harder to it's going to be a lot harder to figure out what each of these actually means. So if I go to the first one, 01000, oops, it just has a bunch of numbers which might just be indexes, but I don't know because opening them does not do anything. But if I go to data 02000, these have stuff like chapter picture assets, because Bokuten is a chapter-based common route. So it's pretty cool to see that in there, but this data file goes a long way. So, and it looks like it has some BGM or BG and stuff too. So yeah, not a very organized one, but at least you are able to get files from in there. The next one I'm going to go to is Dona Dona, another non-Steam visual novel. Even though these have .afa files, you should still be able to open these up similar to .pac and .arc files. See, as you can see, it plays just fine. But one thing you'll notice is Dona Dona does not have as many files to open as something as like If My Heart Had Wings or Baldur's Sky. Like, I don't even see where to get script files from here. So this is one of the cases where you would have to do extra work to find a way to find the script files from this visual novel, if you can. The next visual novel I'm going to talk about is the old fan favorite, Fate Stay Night. So Fate Stay Night uses .xp3 files, and one thing I've noticed is when you try to open .xp3 files, you usually get an extra prompt when you try to open one. So let's try to open BG image. As you see, there's an archive parameters that says archive content could be encrypted. So thankfully, there's a drop down of that usually contains very popular visual novels that I believe have .xp3, and thankfully Fate Stay Night is very popular, so it's going to be found on here. So when you find something like this, click OK, and you should be able to view all the assets just fine. But what if we have a case that isn't as popular and isn't on the drop down list? So for example, Fashioning Little Miss Lonesome, a 18+ otome developed by Call Me at 8. Let's try to do the same thing. Open bgimage.xp3. I don't see its Japanese name, Boshimushime Produce Keikaku, nor do I see its official English name, Fashioning Little Miss Lonesome. So if we just try to pick a random VN, we'll see assets, but we can't open it. So I guess you need some like encryption to open these files. So unfortunately, if your visual novel isn't popular enough, you're going to either have to hit up the devs at GARBro or just find a way to extract the visual novel assets yourself. The last visual novel I'm going to talk about is Princess Evangel. Now, unfortunately, Princess Evangel is one of the few popular visual novels I've tried that has zero way of extracting visual novel assets at all. I've gone through all the subfolders and I saw nothing that looks like you could extract assets. Like, everything here is just a bunch of .dll files, so it could be that I'm missing something, but at the very least, it's definitely not readily obvious where to extract visual novel assets from Princess Evangel. So, like I said at the way beginning, not every visual novel is going to be accessible easily, and this is just one of the many examples of why to not fully trust it for extracting basically everything. But yeah, that's just about it for this tutorial on GARBro. I hope it was helpful, and hopefully it can get you a head start on getting you the best quality assets from a visual novel, whether it's sprites, CGs, music, sound effects, voice acted lines, and possibly even scripts if you know how to deal with them. If you have any questions about this video or any feedback about GARBro, feel free to leave a comment below.